keep rising. Born to shine. Born to shine. Grinding, grinding, grinding. Even though I'm down, I made it now. Climbing, climbing, climbing. I am a queen, I hold the crown. Flying, flying, flying. Living my dreams and holding it down. Born to shine. After everything that I've been through, said I could do it again, true. Putting in work each and every day. Now I'm a boss and I'm running things. Ain't come to play, I come to slay. Started from the bottom, now I'm changing the game. I'ma keep rising like a brand new day. And now it's born to shine, shine, born to shine, born to shine, yeah. Oh, it's a bar, it's a bar.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl, Miss Melony here on BARTV. I got Tish Love with me.
Of course.
And we have the amazing Nick Storm.
Yes, we do.
Aplauso para Nick. Ooh,
Yes.
We got this one in the bag. We holding him in the vault for a little while. We let him out now.
How did we get this? Because I'm shocked.
Well,
There was
it
a
ended
lot
up,
of
it's been,
forth.
yeah, back and forth.
Schedule conflicts.
Yeah, schedule conflicts. I actually wanted him when we was on the FM, and then, you know, the little interruption, and then formatting, and now it's BARTV, so we're here on BARTV.
This is a
Yeah,
big
it is.
fish. You know, we got some fish.
It's a
We
big
got
deal.
Big fish today.
We closing 2018 real strong with Nick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to close it strong.
Yes.
We ready.
Before we go into the strengthness, why don't you introduce yourself properly for those who don't know you, just in case someone don't know who Nick Storm is. You bugging under a rock, but here you go.
No, not at all. My name is Nick Storm, originally from Harlem. And my family moved me up to Yonkers when I was 12, so I'm like Harlem raised and born and raised in Yonkers. Actually, shout out to DMX because his birthday today.
Yes, happy
wow.
birthday,
Yep,
DMX.
happy birthday.
Yes,
Yep.
Rough
Sagittarius
Riders,
in the house.
Yes, sir.
them BX boys.
Yeah, so I went to school up in Albany, came home, went to the music business, was at Sony for 6 years, worked on a producer by the name of Dave Jam Hall, who produced really big hits with Mariah Carey, Brownstone, Madonna, Intro. I mean, he was, was one of the biggest 90s producers, at the time. And I went from there, started doing my own promoting in the city, and then came up and met a guy by the name of Raphael Jacoby in the search of just like when you're in that part of life, when you're promoting at clubs at night, you start meeting a lot of interesting people around, the business. This is way before Instagram and
So you
social
was a
media.
nightlife promoter.
This is a
That's how you
nightlife
started.
promoter. Yeah, I started over there at Monday Night Football. Me and a partner of mine named John Vasquez, we started over there. And just meeting a lot of people. And I met this one guy. He said that he wanted to introduce me to a liquor. And so we took a meeting. I didn't think nothing of it. And next thing you know, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this by the horns and I'm going to run with it with you.
Nice.
And so we started Hypnotic in 2001. And we started Hypnotic in 2001. And
So
it was
you
a
were
struggle.
with them from the bottom with Hypnotic.
I had the first
thing.
bottle.
First bottle.
First bottle of Hypnotic.
When you first tasted it, what did you think?
I thought it was nasty as hell.
But you said I'm gonna take it and run.
He said
But you know what?
product,
It looked cool, but the thing was, it really was not. It wasn't really till its fullest yet at that time.
Okay.
He still was. Those were like introduction bottles.
Oh,
So
okay.
he had actually went back over to France and then shot back down. And when he came back,
Back
with
over
the
to France just like that. Shot
right,
back down. Go
shot
ahead.
back, came back
Money
over,
talk.
and then he came back with the second batch, and we was like, yo, this batch right here, this is it.
Okay.
So the second batch, I was like, nah, we can rock with this.
Okay.
Yeah, so we
Was
went.
it the first batch blue and everything?
No, actually, the first batch was a little bit tint. I would say like I would say more teal than anything. You know, it had like a little greenish, but it wasn't like that blue like it is now.
Okay.
So when it came back, it was like that, you know, that ocean blue.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so we had that. And then, so that was it. And then I got to tell you something. So when you think about the grind, and one of the things I want people to take from this interview is more about the hustle and grind at the time, you know. And when promoting wasn't just putting up, you know, an Instagram page and hope that your followers come or your people.
How did you do it?
Well, it was man, it was footwork, it was teamwork, but it was all guerrilla marketing. It's one place, you know, at a time, you know. And so, so we had everything ready to go, and you know, you have your ups and you have your downs. But I mean, I couldn't get a liquor store to buy into Hypnotic.
You couldn't?
No.
Really?
No, because at the time, Alizé was actually the top popping thing going down.
Got
it. So Alizé was the top popping thing going on at the time. So we had got, so I had got like a big break. I met a couple of rappers at the time, and one rapper had told me, yo, listen, I like this product. Maybe, you know, we can get this in a video. And I'm
what
like,
rapper was it?
Well, I'm a
okay.
lead up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I can't wait.
It's my first little, you know, and I'm you know, still hustling in the street and trying to get into club or restaurant, and everybody's, maybe so.
Right.
And this one rapper was like, yo, I got you on this one, you know. And then I went out to LA and shot the video, came back 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, it, you know, I was getting ready to debut in Air. And I still probably had like three or four places in New York that took us in.
Okay.
And the video came out, and the video was Trade It All. The rapper was
I
fabulous.
knew it. I was going to say it, but I was like, I don't want to be wrong. Shout out to Fab. I do remember that.
Yeah, so Fab was the
first. So they hopped on it after that video aired.
Let me tell you, when they hopped on it, right?
That
So
was a
imagine
big
being
song.
in like an office, and the whole time the secretary is sitting there, and she's like, oh, we just got one call from here. We got one call from here. And imagine when the video pops, and it's like this is when videos was videos, right? So this is like BET.
$1 million production video.
V8, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
yo, MTV, #1, like, you know, Rap City, like everything.
Right.
It debuted at #1 all the way down. And plus the movie Barbershop, the soundtrack was already hot. The movie was hot, so it just everything fit. And then we got calls, but it was crazy. We not only got calls from clubs and restaurants and liquor stores in New York, we got calls out of state. That's how crazy one video could do at that time. And next thing you know, next thing you know, it was like Delaware opened up.
Boom.
Yeah, District of Columbia opened up.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that's like the whole DMV.
Right.
You know, Georgia, a state opened up, and everybody was asking for containers. So he was like,
Alizé was like, oh, nah, hold up.
Yeah,
What
they
they
was-
did
they
right
was-
there,
they
right?
was-
Like, wait, what did we miss? A whole video?
That was a genius move. Like, totally. Like,
at the time.
For
Plus,
you to
that
catch
song
that
is
break
still a
was
classic.
phenomenal.
Yeah, we caught that break. And then it was crazy because then after that break, I think our next biggest break that really broke us into the Midwest, and this might be a little crazy, but when R. Kelly did Ignition Remix and put those 60 bottles, and I remember the conversation with Billy Woodruff in the whole nine, which was the video director. He put those 60 bottles up against that wall, and that Ignition video came out, and that joint debuted at #1, and it just, it's swept.
Everybody
Because
want
everything,
the
you talking about from
Hypnotic now.
Chicago all the way through the Midwest. We was already doing New York. You know, we had a New York flow, we had a whole East Coast flow all the way down to Atlanta. But when we got that Chicago push all the way through the Midwest, it was crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your brand was the first brand to really get endorsed by hip hop and get that big?
I think so at that time. I think that I think we were the first brand to recognize the hip hop culture and the power of it, because everybody else really wasn't embracing it. Although the rappers were putting Cristal in the video, Cristal wanted nothing about us. Any other brand that they didn't want. You know, that's why Jay-Z and Dame went and got their own vodka at the time was called Armadale.
Armadale vodka.
They had stepped
I remember that.
Yeah, they had stepped to Belvedere and was like, yo, remember they had that song, you know,
Armadale
H to the
vodka.
Izzo and all of that, you know, and they, you know, was promoting everything. They was about Belvedere, and they stepped to them. They didn't want no part of it.
Wow.
And we was the first, was like, yeah, we want a part of it.
We actually
Yeah.
want, like,
Great
we want you
hip-hop.
to endorse
Yeah,
us, and
so-
look where it got. I mean, that says a lot about what's happening now, because hip hop rules the world.
Right, the
We
culture
are-
took
it's almost-
over,
we
and
are
I think
pop culture.
I
Yeah.
think the pivotal point for the culture was back then in that era when people started infusing different, the liquor with the music and
Exactly.
Clothing and everything. Everything
fashion,
just fashion
bringing
and
it
everything.
all into
this hip
one
hop
circle.
culture.
Right,
Yeah.
a big pot.
We create the cool.
Yeah,
And
and
we
it's crazy.
control the
Like we're
Right.
talking about that now because you can go on social media today and I just watched the Jay-Z thing when he was talking about why he came out with Rockaware, because he and Dame and Biggs was going to companies saying, "Yo, we rocking your stuff. I think I'm influencing your brand," and none of them wanted
to give a bag.
So then that's what they said. Okay, we're gonna come out with
Our
Rockaware.
own.
Yeah,
Which is
Right.
so dope, because you think something is like not fortunate, and then it turns out to be a blessing. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like you go, even him. He's everything. It sounds like that happened with Jay, because that's what happened with his record label too. Nobody would give him record deal. He had to start Rockefeller Records.
That's
So,
right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's so super dope.
Creating
Wow.
your own.
So
lane.
Hypnotic. You had no interest in selling alcohol, selling liquor.
No.
Somebody came to you, and you end up being the biggest thing ever.
And
Yeah.
what did you study for in school?
I was just straight marketing. But I
Marketing.
wanted to be in the music business. I just loved.
you wanted it.
I loved the music business aspect about it. And even when I came home, and I tell every intern, and listen to this real closely, internships are very important. And I intern not only from, your internship is sometimes it's, it could be from 3 months, sometimes to 6 months. Sometimes you get lucky enough to go for a year. I was in an internship program, and I only lasted 2 months, close to 3. And the reason being is because I never left the office. When everybody else left the office, my dad used to tell me, don't leave until your boss leaves. But even if your boss leaves, make sure if you're on the floor, make sure that anybody else needs help. Know your job, but honestly, look around and see what other job that you may
Make sure you know
want to
all
know
the
or
roles.
may want to help with. And me doing that,
Become an asset.
I was just, and I got caught lucky watching the A&R, getting his stuff together, trying to make it over to Sony Studios. I helped him out. I helped him out for 3 days. Came back like the next week, and the HR lady was like, "I got to talk to you." And I was like, "Oh God, I got fired? What did I do?" And she was like, "No, you actually got hired."
Wow.
So I even tell all my interns, like, that have come through, the Blue Flame Agency, and a lot of them have taken a lot of my, things I've told them then and used it to their,
They put it
abilities
into
now,
action.
which is great. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's one of the things. So, yeah, and it's about a grind. It's about a hustle. It's about being hungry. I think that's the most part. And the other thing is too is being very humble about it.
Right.
Right.
What made you want to do marketing? Like,
I just like the movement. I just like to think. I just like to have my brain moving constantly every day and finding out how am I going to market better? How am I going to change this to, that's how I'm starting to keep talking about alcohol, but I love to study the game of the wine and spirits business. Once I got in it, I studied it.
okay.
It'd be days that I'd go to clubs and just sit by the bar and just watch what girls is wearing, watch what girls is ordering, watch what the bartender's pouring. I would sit by the bar and guys would be like, "Nah, Nick, come to the table." I'd be like, "Nah, I'm good tonight." And I would sit there and study the culture.
Right.
And that's being a student of the game. You have to study the culture first, and then you come out with your marketing plan and figure out, how am I going to attack this market? How am I going to attack the mainstream market? How am I going to change it up and go after the Latin market? And know exactly where you're going.
Nice.
So now you're at Hypnotic. You blew all the way up. You guys are everywhere.
1.2 million cases in 3 years for a brand.
Okay.
Yeah, 1.2 million.
That's not brilliant and
Yeah.
brilliant. I'm just gonna say.
In 3 years.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you make the transition to Ciroc?
Yeah, how did that
Great
happen?
story. It was 2007. I was at an Unforgivable launch party, and 2 women, which are my mentors, like I give everything to them. A woman by the name of Dia Sims, who is actually CEO of Sean Combs Enterprises,
Okay.
and Miss Erica Pittman, 2 fabulous women, was at the same party with me and said that Mr. Combs wanted to talk to me about something.
Okay.
Right there at that very moment, how did you feel?
Well, you know what?
Because if you tell me Mr. Combs want to talk to me right
Right.
now, I'll be like,
Right.
how, Master,
Right.
where?
Right.
Excuse
Yeah,
me,
I
whatever
was.
you want. What happened?
Yeah,
Where?
I
I'm going to do it. We're going to get this. Let's do it.
Yeah, I didn't know at first. At first, I thought it was like about a party.
Okay.
But it was weird because I used to go through his assistant at the time, you know, to drop off product here, because I actually was around him a lot with Hypnotic. He knew who I was, but I don't think he really can catch the face with the name yet.
Okay.
At that time. So, but I would see him everywhere he was at, whether he was in the Hamptons, whether he was at an office, whether he had a video. I would make sure that Hypnotic was right there.
Right.
Okay.
So
Putting his footwork in.
yeah, so when they told me, I was like, okay, cool. I'm thinking about it's a party, and so I went to the office and sat with him, and he was like, let me ask you a question, and let me tell you, when you meet with Puff and it's face to face, like he's really, really good at just looking at you and he's
Is
gonna
it
like
intimidating?
Eye contact.
at the time, definitely it was. At the time it was. It was like he was. I'm like a lot loose now because I've been with him over 11 years.
Right,
but it's like,
right.
But back then it was like, whoa.
It was a big deal.
It was.
Yeah.
And it was like, he's like, how'd you do it? And I was like, huh?
Right.
He's like, all right, wait, hold on. Let me tell you something. I got this brand called Ciroc, vodka. And I said, I'm familiar with it because I had just did 2 parties with the girl who was at the brand manager at the time for Ciroc. I just did 2 parties with her.
Okay.
So she was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, no, I like the brand.
Can I ask you this? Wait. So you used to throw parties to promote and market your liquor?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when
now,
you say you did a party with her,
When I did a party with her, it was in conjunction with, so it was a Janet Jackson, at the time, it was Janet Jackson's
Talk about
after
it.
party. So it was Janet Jackson's after party, and what it is that they needed 2 liquor sponsors. So one was they needed a vodka, and then the other one was they needed like a cordial just for like the ladies. That's what they were saying, for them. So they were like, oh, I love Hypnotic. So what I did was at the time, since they were a vodka, we were cordial, we can combine.
Right.
So we kind of like made a blue martini drink, which
Okay,
was really
cool.
good for the night. So it was like kind of cool, it was cool.
Okay.
So we kind of came together. So I knew about the brand.
Okay.
And so I explained to him, I know about the brand, and he was like, okay, listen, I'm about to rock with it. What you think about it? I told him what I thought about it, and I was like, all right, cool. And he was like, so the question is like, how'd you do it? And I was like, how'd I do what? And he was like, how'd you get Hypnotic everywhere?
In 3 years.
Like, yeah. But no, at that time, it was 5 years since that time.
Oh, you was 5 years into it already.
02 to 07.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I was about to say, oh, you know what, Puff, let me tell you something. This is what I did. I did
Then you
this.
said, "Oh, not
I
hire
did-
me."
So I was like, wait a minute.
Let me humble myself
Yeah,
right
hold on.
now.
No. Your dad, I was like, this guy was on the back of my shoulder like, hey, you give him a little. But don't give him everything.
Don't give him the
Yep.
sauce yet.
Yep.
Not yet.
Sell yourself, not
No,
yourself.
right.
Right.
And Puff is known for remixing, so hold on one
Right,
second.
hold
Yeah,
up.
hold up.
I gotta
hold up.
have something in the
That's
bag.
it.
Yeah, no, so it was a good meeting.
It was a great meeting.
Right.
Yeah, it was a great meeting.
11 years later.
Right.
Right, 11 years later.
Right.
Yeah, so we met, and then that was I joined on.
So he put you
So
right
he
in charge
said,
for
"How'd you
marketing.
do it?" You told him a little bit.
What it was is that he told the little bit part is like I had 2 huge programs at the time, and these are like really programs that I loved and I mastered from day one. And the programs was the ambassador program. So everybody in the country, y'all might run around and say, well, yo, I'm an ambassador. Or I'm, and let's really break down if you're really an ambassador of the brand.
Right. Talk
And-
about it, King Ambassador.
Yeah, no. So it's like, that was one of the parts that I loved, to train and to understand, how to really become an ambassador. Ambassador these days is people think you just go to a table, you invite your friends over and
Take
and you
pictures.
take pictures and that's an ambassador. That wasn't an ambassador when we was coming up.
What
Ambassador
was an ambassador?
It was really knowing exactly who's who, what's what, meeting and greeting, knowing every bartender, knowing every promotional person, knowing promoters, bartenders, you name it. That was really an ambassador. And knowing about the brand and being able to talk about the brand You know, and
Networking, all about the brand.
and
Where
living
it
the
came
life,
from.
right? But living the
taste
lifestyle of the brand,
Okay.
and that's very important.
Becoming the brand.
So I had did the ambassador program for Hypnotic, which was like the key marketing tool for that brand. To what I thought, you know, and that's not only part for videos, which really was amazing, but the ambassador program was really good, and so was the DJ program. And the DJ program
What was the DJ program?
It was
DJ
the
radio?
Ciroc Boys, and we created the Ciroc Boys.
That's why I seen. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody,
a lot of-
everybody wants to be a Ciroc
Oh yeah,
boy.
yeah. We killed it. When we came out,
Yes.
we flooded the New York market, but not only that, we flooded Atlanta, we flooded Chicago, we flooded DC. We just took the best DJs
Yes.
inside the
That was
market,
genius.
and you really had them around the brand.
So that was you?
Yeah. I'm gonna be as humble as I am, but I took that program.
I'm not gonna be
Hypnotic,
humble for you. That's
and-
right,
yeah,
Nick.
yeah.
That's not a moment of
Yes,
I know he's
because-
humble, but
Yeah.
Right. Because to
doesn't
be
get-
honest,
yeah,
I'm
he
not
gotta
a
get that
super
clap.
big drinker, but it's like I know how effective that was. I'm super into hip hop. I'm super into music, and all you heard, Ciroc boy this, Ciroc boy that. You want Ciroc,
Yeah.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
it was
it goes down smooth. You believe that it could go down harsh as it wants to go down, but because you hear puffing them and the Ciroc boy saying smooth,
And
you
sipping
believe
it like
it.
nothing.
Yeah,
Right.
and you got to think about this though. Think about New York, and you got Camilo, Pro Style, Clue, Flex. You got everybody, right?
Right.
Everybody.
Right? You
Everybody.
got Envy,
majors.
Self. So you're covering radio at the same time, but
Right.
nobody can see that, right? So you're covering radio,
Right.
and you're covering the nightlife. So now I could be at One Oak with Clue, but Pro Style shouting Ciroc Boys uptown at a club.
Uptown,
Camilo's shouting
the radio.
Yeah, but Camilo's at a club in Jersey shouting Ciroc. You know, so
Yeah.
we were coming at all angles, and Self was in Brooklyn at the time, and Envy was also in Brooklyn as well. So we were coming from all angles at the time, and it
Right.
was just we were hitting them hard.
Yeah. I mean, still to this day, that's a Ciroc is
Everywhere.
the brand.
Yeah.
Right. It's still top. Everybody's Ciroc.
So when you got the Ciroc offer, did you go to Hypnotic and say it was fun? It's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
real.
Yeah, no.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it was bittersweet, of course, because that was like your baby. So it was like, you just gotta, let
it go.
away, let your baby go, and and it was
Keep
just like
moving.
it was a new beginning.
And it kind of fizzled.
Yeah.
And was it like
And then if this was me on a talk show that I was talking crazy, I'd be like, yeah, it fizzled, because no.
right? Because I don't
he's
want to put you
humble.
on that light or
No.
make you look like that at all. But
No.
I mean,
Not to say
that's
that the
just
person
what-
that replaced you wasn't doing as great a job as you. We're
Right.
not saying
Yeah.
that because this isn't a messy
just
show.
stopped hearing
We
about
don't do
Hypnotic.
that. We don't do that.
No,
No,
but it was.
that
But
was
anyway.
good.
No, actually,
That was-
they went in a different direction. I'm not gonna say the person, because they never really had somebody to come in.
And
That
replace
was-
you.
Try to replace.
They actually went
Replaceable, AKA.
they actually went another route
Okay.
with the brand, and
Okay.
it kind of like it definitely fizzled out. But you know what? It's funny.
It's still
See how things
still-
come back around. I just recently seen so many new posts on it. So many, like the Incredible Hulk is coming back out.
Oh, really?
Because it's a new generation, and I
Oh,
think
that's
the
true.
millennials that's out now is probably
They're gonna
you got-
bite it,
Yeah,
right.
I was talking to a kid the other day. He was 21 years old, and he was just telling me about Hypnotic, like what his guys at college was doing, and I was like, I didn't say anything. I was like, wow.
Like, wow.
He said, okay,
That's
that's
crazy.
still
He
my
was like,
work.
yeah, I mixed it with Douce, and I got hit. Yo, I was like, oh,
Oh, that's how you're doing it.
yeah. But yeah, it was good to hear.
Still there.
Shout out
Maybe
to
it's making a
Hypnotic.
comeback. A lot of things are coming back. It's
Yeah.
just
Retroactive.
yeah. So now, okay. So 11 years. First of all, where you started with Ciroc and Diddy that day when you had the meeting in the office, and the position and responsibilities you held from that day, has it changed or evolved to where you are today with it,
Actually, it's
or is it the same?
funny. Well, it's not, because I was always the national person for the brand, so I did all the big events. So I've done all the Super Bowls, All-Star, Grammys, Golden Globe, anything that he was a part of. Vegas Takeover Weekends, Memorial Takeover Weekends, none of it. That was my role, right? But then also, it was a lot of the ambassador program that we still are really strongly about, and being on top of the ambassadors still, and if any new ones come in from a new market that we feel like we need penetration, I'm there to train and keep the flow going.
So
So
you
it's
still
never
got
really,
that.
it's never, it's never really like, well, I went to senior vice president of,
Right.
no,
No.
it's been,
You're
the
Nick
hard,
Storm and you're doing what Nick
I-
Storm does.
Right.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, it's
Created
hard.
his own lane. That's it.
I create my own
That's
lane.
it.
I
He's
stay in,
humble
I stay
about
in my
it, but
lane.
he's in
I'm,
his lane.
right. I'm on the same street. I'm in a, I'm on the same, I'll
Right.
switch lanes here and there, but
Right, when it makes sense.
I'm on that lane.
What's
Nice.
Can we ask you what's next? Do you have something to do with every flavor of Ciroc?
Not me. Not.
Okay.
It's a team effort. It really comes up from Puff first.
Okay.
Shout out. Wait, let me just pause this and say my condolences
Yeah.
on Lady KP.
Absolutely.
Much respect to the whole Bad Boy family, to her beautiful children, and to Diddy.
Yeah.
That was. It hurt me like that was
Right,
my
that
sister.
was a tough loss. I
That
think
that
for the
was
hip-hop
very
culture, for the
big,
world.
and
Yeah.
and I want to say that I just commend him and his family, whether it's them or someone else managing the accounts or whatever, but how they were able, because people like yourself and them have a lot of people like us looking up to you guys,
Right.
So to show that you took such a strong hit and still continue to go,
Right.
and they didn't, I'm sure behind closed doors it was
Yeah,
detrimental,
yeah. Yeah.
But they kept it like a royal family should when it came to the public, and remembering her, and it was just too emotional for me. But
Yeah.
I definitely
So our
wanted to
condolences,
say
definitely.
condolences. So, and moving forward though.
We were saying about you not having something to do with every flavor, because there's a few different flavors of Ciroc.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot. No, it comes from up top. It's Diageo and Puff kind of come together and kind of like make that whole thing, come like he'll tell you what kind of flavor he feel like. Diageo goes to the drawing board. It's a whole process though. It's a whole chemistry thing that they have to do, and with liquid and everything. And it's amazing how they come up with it and get it to like the key point of
Are you part of the
the
tasting
ability.
process?
No, we don't get that until they're in like the smaller the white bottles, and then we get like a cool core meeting, and then they go, yo, taste this, taste this.
Okay.
Taste this.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, then it gets to that.
What's next for you?
Oh wow, 2019 coming up. It's a lot. Looking forward for this year.
You
a lot
got
of-
your feet wet acting.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
No. That was a little quick little
little-
acting role.
It was just
it was
in
good.
Times Square.
It was fun. We shut down Times Square.
You look like
shout
a
out to
real
Asian
nice
Mob,
gangster there.
Jesus.
Shout out to Asian Mob.
Yeah, the producer and director Jesus. Shout out to China Mac and Jen for the guys that was in the movie. It was fun. It was good.
Nice.
I did get my feet wet in it, but now it seems like after that I got a couple other things that that's on the table. Can't really talk about it too much.
Yes.
A little acting,
okay.
little podcasting, little
Nice.
All that.
a lot of good things coming on. But still in the liquor business, love it. But more importantly, I think this year I'm doing a lot more speaking at schools because there isn't no curriculum that you can understand about. There's marketing, but then there's so many jobs inside the wine and spirits business for African Americans and Latinos, and I don't think that
They don't know about
Right.
it.
So me
Because
and
the schools are only pumping the,
Yeah, so me and a guy is putting an initiative together that we're gonna start, kind of like getting some of these young guys up under the belt and take mentorships in the program to let these kids know about it.
Nice. Have you started with any schools yet?
No.
Or this is just coming up?
Everything is
In production.
In production. So, yeah, we
So
moving
I'm looking
forward.
forward to that.
Right. So
Definitely.
we're gonna get podcasts. We're gonna get acting. We're gonna get you in.
You're gonna get a whole lot.
A whole
Yes,
lot.
a
I'm very
whole lot.
excited.
Get ready
And
for the storm.
You
Right.
exactly, and you heard it here first on BARTV, of
Right.
course.
That's right.
We appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you for having me.
Will you come back?
Of course.
Because you're about to blow all the way up. I need you to not forget about
No.
us.
And make sure Bar TV is front and center to cover
Because
everything
let me
else you
tell
have
you,
going forward.
Right.
we're
Well,
gonna be
yeah.
putting it up like we had him here first.
Right.
Right,
Right.
right here at
Right
the end
here.
of 2018. Don't make me send
In
you
New
the
York
link.
City.
That's it.
Yeah.
I
no, appreciate it.
definitely appreciate it. Before you go and we wrap it up here, I just want, because it's Brilliant and Resilient Television, you to share, if you can, one specific time or moment where you felt very weary or it was hard for you to see hope or future, and how'd you get through it?
I don't even know if the lady can give me enough time.
Go ahead. Don't worry about it.
Just
It's okay.
tell
Go
her
ahead.
about the rap, but
Yes.
she might even love this one. And this
All
is
right.
this is a good one. Okay?
I want
My man all the way in the
good
back,
ones.
in the red jacket. Get ready
Stand
for this
up. We
one, all right?
listening. Pay attention.
Listen to this. True story, right? True story. Rent is due maybe a month behind. Really feeling down. No liquor store was taking me. I had all of these cases in my living room. I was down and depressed, couldn't sell nothing. And I was home, and when you're broke and it's tough, you sit up and you're trying to think of anything you could do, and you're watching TV, and I started watching this movie. It was called Shawshank Redemption. And it was with Morgan Freeman. And I was sitting on the couch, I'm watching this movie, and I remember Morgan Freeman in this one line. He said, either I'm gonna get busy living or I'm gonna get busy dying. And the first thing that it said to me was, I don't feel like dying. Now, he didn't mean like I'm just gonna die.
Right.
He meant like, I could have said like I had a marketing degree. I can go back, find a regular 9-to-5 job. No, but that was not me.
You
And I was set for destined to do something brilliant.
greater than you even seen.
Yeah, and I had to make a move, right? So I was like, I'm pumped, I'm amped, I gotta do this. I had to change my car at like 7 o'clock in the morning to the other side of the street in Harlem. And I get up in the morning, and I turn my car on, and then on BLS, there was a song by Michael Jackson. And it played, and it's called We're Almost There. It's by the Jackson 5. And if you ever hear that song, you ever hear the trumpets, the way it begins, it just pulls you in. And he's saying in that song, no matter how hard times may seem, I sat in that car. Don't give up on your plan, and don't give up on your dream. Yo,
It spoke to you.
it spoke to me so much. I teared in the car. I cried in the car. I was broke. I cried in the car. I moved that car to the other side of the street. I listened to that song all the way to the end of it. I stopped it. I went upstairs. I ironed my little suit. I got my little bag. I went out to 125th Street. It was Harlem Liquors right there. I went in there. I went with positive energy. I said, sir, can you just give me 5 minutes?
Please.
And he said, you know what? You came in here with a smile on your face, and you just must be energetic about what's in your bag. I said, sir, this bag right here, you have no idea. I felt like Will Smith and
Pursuit
the
of
movie
Happiness.
Pursuit of
Happiness.
Like I felt like him with that little,
Yes,
Yes.
the little thing.
Machine,
the
yes.
machine, the X-ray machine.
Yes.
And I went and he said, listen, I'm gonna give you a shot. And I said, I cannot believe. He said, I'm gonna give you a shot. That day, he bought a case. And he told me I gotta come back on Friday to buy that case back from him. I came back on Friday, and I had people come in there and buy the liquor. Long story short, at the end of the time from that week, he bought 26 cases.
26?
26 cases because I had a plan that I had put together that made 2 projects that I had 2 different cousins living in, going to the store and buying the product back out of there. Yeah, it was a crazy plan. When y'all read the
Nice.
book, you'll see it.
Oh
But
my
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
The book is coming out.
No,
but
I
yeah,
ain't seen.
it was crazy. No, but that was a part where I felt like I was at
Wow.
my last. But you know what, though? You never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up. No matter how hard it may be, you just never give up.
Wow.
So
Thank
much
you.
for that.
And Nick, he motivates me. If you don't follow him on Instagram, I am Nick Storm. He will help you get through some dark times. You don't even know.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah. We all
thank
go
you.
through it.
Yes.
We all go through it.
We appreciate
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
being on
Absolutely.
BARTV. And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Holla.
Grinding, grinding, grinding. I keep